Mompreneurs, where we celebrate and learn from fabulous Black women who are out here killing it as moms-in-chief, running both their households and their businesses. I'm your host, Nancy Redd, and I come from a lovely lineage of Black mompreneurs in Southern Virginia. I'm thrilled to present this intimate interview series that highlights inspiring and educational stories about how women are creating incredible opportunities and generational wealth for their families. But this isn't just about money. Balancing motherhood, mental health, and happiness is very important too, and we talk about that. From book empires to bonnet-wearing dolls to building franchises, these powerhouses are redefining what it means to be a working mama while inspiring a whole new generation of mothers to do it for themselves. Now, when we say our kids are our inspiration to become mompreneurs, sometimes we mean that figuratively, right? But in Evana Oli's case, entrepreneurship came about literally because her young daughter needed role models and products and support that just was not in the marketplace at that time. So it was up to Evana to make it happen. And as mom-in-chief at Beautiful Curly Me, that's exactly what she's doing. We are so blessed to have Evana here with us today. I am such a huge fan. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Oh, one of the funny things is we always think about, why do you want to have kids? You want to have kids because it's a legacy, because it's important to have kids, to have a little roll dog. Business inspiration was not really on your mind when you had your daughter, right?
Not at all. Not at all. Just trying to figure it out as a mom.
But 10-year-old Zoe, she's 10 now.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about what shifted for you. You came into motherhood with an MBA, but not with a business. You were working at a company, just a regular 9-to-5.
Right.
And then as your daughter grew older, what shifted? What took you from just a marketing extraordinaire to mom-in-chief?
I love that. Mom-in-chief. Well, I would say, honestly, the moment really was when she came home from school one day and she literally said this to me, these words: "Mommy, why is my hair not straight or pretty like my classmates?" And I was taken aback. I'm like, "What do you mean? You're beautiful. What do you mean?" Like, that just threw me for a loop, right? And so, she said that first day. I tried to talk her down. I said, "No, don't ever say that. You're beautiful. Your hair is beautiful. Everyone looks different. Just, be proud of who you are." And so I said that the first time. She said it again, like, another couple of days later. And then she said, "Mommy, but you're not wearing your hair." This is what she said to me. And I was like, whoa. Because at the time,
these kids call you out.
She called me all the way out. And I have to say, nothing wrong, obviously, with, us Black women expressing ourselves through different hairstyles and, different hair types, right? But I was hiding behind, the weaves at the time. And so, her saying that to me, it made me realize my little 6-year-old daughter is watching me. And she was, paying attention to the fact that at the time I was so petrified of my hair being seen, because, we know what's going on with corporate America. Things are starting to change now with the Crown Act and things like that. But at the time, it was almost taboo to be seen without straight, silky, like, long hair. And so I would go from literally like taking out my weave and making sure like I had an appointment to get it sewn back in. And it was just this rat race of, trying to like maintain that perfect image. I talked to my sisters, who had daughters, and I asked, what could I do? And, they suggested, you should get her a black doll. Like, what kind of dolls is she playing with? And that's something I actually didn't pay attention to. And so I got her a black doll. She liked the doll, but then she started complaining why this doll didn't have hair like hers. And that's another thing I didn't pay attention to, because I'm thinking, it's a black doll, something that looks like her. But this doll also
when we were growing up, it was exciting to get the black doll.
Exactly.
This is a sad, I didn't have a lot of dolls growing up. I had one black Cabbage Patch that my dad drove to Philadelphia and stood in a line to get.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted Barbies, but maybe that was also a lie. They could have just said, well, there are no black ones. They just didn't want to buy them.
Right. Actually, but for me, I actually grew up in an all-black society. So I actually grew up in Nigeria. And so
were the dolls black?
The dolls were black, but no, actually there was a mix, right? I'm trying to think. I didn't have a lot of dolls either. So, but it was a mix.
It's hard to remember all this.
It's hard to remember all this.
Whatever pain and suffering, this is a different generation. Your daughter Zoe, she's talking to you. That's the interesting thing. We're changing perspectives. Can you imagine going to your mom being like, "I don't like my doll," or something like that?
Exactly.
Would you have been met with the same compassion? Or,
Probably, yeah,
like
probably
the same
not.
thought?
Right, probably not. And I think also the conversation would have been a little bit different too, because I mentioned the Black society because I think Zoe was feeling that way because she was in a classroom where a lot of kids didn't look like her, right? And so, she felt different, and people would ask her, like kids would ask her questions about her hair, and I think that's really what drove that kind of thought process of why is my hair different. But for me, everyone was rocking cornrows just like me, right? So it wasn't anything much different.
That's a great perspective.
Yes, yes.
This is your first generation.
First generation.
Raising a child.
First generation American.
That is a minority.
Exactly.
And
so that was the
when you're
light
in this,
bulb
you're
for me.
scrambling.
Right, because I didn't even
resources.
anticipate this coming. Exactly.
So of course it was you were
Exactly.
totally blindsided.
Yes.
And then you went look and you got the black doll.
Yes.
But the hair was unsatisfactory.
Hair was unsatisfactory, and Zoe kept saying, "Mommy, why doesn't this doll have curly hair like mine? Or why can't she? Can I? Doesn't she have braids? Like, how sometimes I braid my hair because she would wear cornrows to school sometimes." And I was like, don't know. And so went to the stores and didn't find anything. And I told her that. And then next thing I started hearing, "Mommy, I want to make dolls. I want to make a business." I'm like, make a business?
And like, how old is Zoe?
Right, she's 6 years old. She's 6
like,
years
I wanna
old.
make a
I don't know
business.
where this came from, honestly. Like I said, I was just doing my thing at work. And so, she said she wants to, she wanted to start a business. She wanted to make a business. And so I didn't take her seriously at first. And, I kind of was like, okay. But she was persistent. And I started to listen to her. And she would say, "Mommy, it would be so nice if we had a doll with locks." Because, we had friends that had locks. And she's like, "What if I had a doll with braids? Or what if I had a doll with curls?" And so I said, "Okay, Zoe, if you're serious, I can work on this with you." And so that was how we started. And I made her promise she was going to take it seriously and we would do it together.
That is very inspiring, and which
Yes.
is why later we'll be interviewing your CEO, which
Yes.
is Zoe. You are
My
mom and chief.
CEO.
And
I report
she's your
to her.
CEO. You report to her.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, a 6-year-old doesn't yet have a credit line.
Right.
And when you're dealing with the product,
Yes.
you can't just say, "Hey, I have this great idea.
Absolutely.
I have a business I want to start.
Absolutely.
Can you make me some dolls?"
Right.
You have to invest.
I have to invest. Exactly.
And you have to find someplace worthy of your investment.
Absolutely.
So how did we get from 6-year-olds, like, I want to start a business,
Mhm.
to what you have now, which is multiple dolls, multiple bonnets, silk pillowcases, an array of products?
Books that she's written. Puzzles. Yes. a
Everything.
lot.
How do we get from nothing? What was the first step in creating the dolls?
So first step was research. Because again, so background, I was in marketing strategy. I've worked in consumer products. I've worked in, media, different industries, but never toy. And so for me, it was a huge learning curve, just trying to even understand like where to start. And so a lot of trial and error, but of course, having the business acumen, I would say definitely helped. And so doing research and just good old-fashioned Google, trying to see what was out there, kind of competitive landscape, and just starting to talk to manufacturers and start to get like ideas of like what costing would look like, and talking to designers in terms of getting like the designs actually made, and really listening to Zoe and hearing her kind of vision and trying to bring that creativity to life. So she would, she couldn't really sketch. She's actually a pretty good sketch artist now, but back then she did her little sketches like, I would like this and I would like that, and we would talk about it. And then so making sure I involved her on every like step of the journey was very important for me, because again, this was her baby, this was her idea, and left to me, I was very comfortable, 6-figure job, and I didn't really need to take on a new business, right? And so I would say doing that research and the trial and error and getting the designs done and starting to like, bringing samples and kind of work back and forth and iterate and just, fail and learn. And we just, we just did what we had to do. And, sure enough, by the time she turned 7, I would say by holiday, we missed holiday very narrowly. And so we launched January 2019. And so we had our first doll.
So January 2019, she's 7 years old.
Yes.
You did a lot in a short period of time. How
Yes.
many dolls did you order for the first time under your brand, Beautiful Curly Me?
Ooh, I would say the first order was pretty small. It was probably, I think we did 1,000, if that. Yeah, I think 1,000 dolls.
And how long did it take you to sell out of that first round?
It took a while, I would say, because again, this was not anyone's full-time focus. So it was in school, first grade, and I was going on second grade, and we were I was still juggling full-time work and all of that. So what we were doing from a marketing standpoint was really going out to shows. And for me, I was very intentional about that because I wanted her to get that customer experience and really understand, what it was like to actually have a product and sell it. And so for her, that was just amazing. Like her eyes would light up when the little girls would run up to her and hug the dolls, and she would talk to them, and she could see the exchange of money happening and things like that. So that was a really exciting time. So obviously 2019, this is before COVID, which is great. So we had that year. First year, I think we probably made like $10,000. Like it was nothing, but trust me, it was a lot for us back then. We were like screaming. We can't believe people actually bought these dolls that don't know us. So that was really exciting, just to kind of see her progress along that journey.
From the time of inception to the time of placing the first $1,000 orders, how much had you invested in the company?
About $5,000.
About $5,000.
From savings.
And this easily could have been recouped if you like put the doll on Amazon or something, or done a Kickstarter or something not tangible,
Absolutely.
right? Like that would have been it. But you wanted for a 6 or 7-year-old the tactile experience.
Exactly.
Why was that important for you as a mother in this entrepreneurship venture with your daughter?
I would say it was very important for me because I wanted to be true to the vision of my daughter, right? A lot of people, put their kids up as props, right? And not saying anything's wrong with that, but I think for me, it's genuine, right? She had the idea, she has the passion for it, and for me, it was very important for her to really understand and have a good grasp of what it was doing. So learn that foundation to really be a businesswoman and a CEO that she is today. So I think the little things and taking that slow path, there's nothing wrong with slow growth. So I'm very much a proponent of, let's learn, let's figure it out, let's fail. It's low risk, but at the end of the day, I think the reward for me is really seeing her blossom into the girl that she is today.
So this is very important.
Mm-hmm.
So I have known Evana for a while because she carries a line. She and her daughter Zoe at Beautiful Curly Me carry a line of doll bonnets, child bonnets, and adult bonnets, and they're matching. And I'm a Southern woman from Southern Virginia, and there's one thing we love is matching stuff.
Yep.
And it just is adorable.
So Zoe had this really great idea of, why, Mommy, wouldn't it be cool if I could get a bonnet to match with my doll? Get my doll a bonnet to match with me for nighttime, right? And I was like, oh my God, that's a great idea. Looked around, I didn't find anything like that because that did not exist. And so I'm like, this is great. So again, did our thing. Worked with a local designer, kind of got them, sketched up and made the first set of samples, and we actually started producing them locally here in Atlanta.
When did you start producing the doll, kid, and mama bonnet?
Right around the same time. So we launched them early 2019.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And when you were doing this, the thing is, it's very, because as you know, I have this book, Bedtime Bonnet, and now we've got Super Bonnet on Disney, and bonnets just everywhere.
Yes.
But at this time, people need to understand, this was not a thing.
There were no bonnets. There were no bonnets, especially no doll and girl bonnets. And I think it's so important. It was such a great idea that she had because it really teaches girls and reinforces the idea of, taking care of your hair at nighttime. If you want to love your hair, you need to learn how to take care of your hair. And so having yourself match with your doll just makes it more fun and exciting. And we heard from a lot of moms that said, now my daughter wants to go to bed with her doll because, they're matching and they're wearing their bonnets. And then mommies were like, we want to get involved. So actually we started with the girl and doll, and then the moms were kind of like, we want to match too. And so we added on the mommy bonnets as well.
Right. That's how I ended up with the book, because my daughter didn't want to wear the bonnet. And I was like, girl, you always bonnet. And there were no resources, so we write the book. And it's important to think about your entrepreneurship as altruistic and holistic when it can be, because it makes it so much more fun.
So numbers wise, we definitely sell more dolls. And I think for a while there, like you said, we were kind of like, is it the bonnets? Is it the dolls? But the dolls definitely have inched out from the get-go. And I would say it's just because of the authenticity of the story, right? Because you can get bonnets in a lot of places now, especially now, and people have since started making, and that's how it goes, right? And the more the merrier. But I would say, having a young girl creating a doll for other girls like her so they can feel confident and powerful, you can't replace that, right? So I think that's really what draws everyone to the brand, and that has continued consistently making those dolls perform even more stronger. So I would say that is the cornerstone of the portfolio. The books are a second, I would say, because Zoe wrote Beautiful Curly Me, the book. in I don't even know, I'm losing track. I think it's been 2 years now. She released the book. She was 8 when she wrote the book, and the book is just a book of affirmations, and she'll tell you more about it. But
Yes.
it's a great compliment to the doll, and so we found a lot of customers bundling the two together. And then she came out with a gratitude and kindness journal, and so I think we're seeing customers wanting more books and more enrichment for their kids, right? So we think about the whole girl, and so it's more than just the bonnets. It's more than just a doll. It's about how do we really create this girl that is confident and she's ready to navigate, the world. And the more we can pour into her through media, that's really kind of where we see ourselves going. We've seen gotten so many press features, Good Morning America, Forbes, People, Kelly Clarkson show. And so the more our story gets out there, the more we continue to see growth. And so it's been really amazing to just see the growth and have Zoe be able to say, I've made 6 figures in the 4th grade, right? And so that was at the time. Now she's in the 6th grade. And so we just continue to grow. And so we're excited about our next milestone of getting to a 7-figure business soon.
That's incredible.
Yes.
And so for moms watching this, a lot of times they think, oh, I just can't do this. Well, you are fortunate to have an MBA background. Do you
Right.
think that this type of endeavor is feasible without your know-how? Because I'll be honest, as someone who has spent way too much money and time over the last 15 years trying to come up with bonnet prototypes. I've been trying to recreate the shower cap, just me, my little mannequins and my little stuff, my little sad situations like on Alibaba. You're so inspiring to me because you're just like, girl, I mean, everybody loves Alibaba
Everybody loves Alibaba.
until you get your prototype back. You're like, wait, Alibaba, why are you playing me?
There's a method to the madness.
Oh, that's offline, I guess. That we'll have to have another interview.
Mhm.
But for you to be able to streamline this so
Yes.
quickly in this 6-month period of time, it has a lot to do with your business acumen that you were educated in. Or would you say that the information is out there for anyone to figure this out?
I would say it's a little bit of both for sure. I mean, I think the business background helps, but again, business for corporate is very different for startup, right? And I think, when you're in a situation where you're, backed by a huge company and you have a huge team and there's millions of dollars at your disposal and, coming to starting your own thing from scratch where you don't have resources and you're bootstrapping and you're trying to figure things out, it's very different. So I would say, yes, it helped, but at the same time, I don't think anyone should limit themselves because they don't have a business background. There's a lot of information out there. There's groups and communities you should be part of. I would say, I think the biggest things that we've learned have come from just being in the right circles. And so starting off, we didn't know what we didn't know, but as we've learned, it's all about, your associations, right? And so I'm very big on, making sure we're plugged into the right communities. So we, done a couple of accelerators, which have helped us. So mentoring and getting coaches and just really like, filling those gaps, like joining WIT, for example, like really getting
WIT
into
is
that
Women in
industry.
Toys, which is
Women
an
in
amazing
Toys.
organization that we're both part of.
Yes,
because,
yes.
because that, and I think this is very important for people who are aspiring to be like you and Zoe.
Absolutely.
Because you spend just as much time on your product and figuring out the product as the networking.
Absolutely.
Because when you have a product, it's very different from a service.
Yes.
Or a position or something like that.
Yeah.
You have to have inventory. You have to have storage. You have to have a way for
Figure out your
somebody
supply
to
chain,
supply chain,
the marketing,
materials,
yes.
differentiation.
A lot of moving parts.
And 10 cents can mean the difference between
Yes.
your profit being $50,000
Yes.
or $100,000. I mean,
Absolutely.
literally, right?
I would say you just have to give yourself grace and, know that there are seasons where, you're in situations where you're able to do a little bit more of this, or sometimes you just have to really do the work because you can't really cheat doing the work. Like the work has to be done. Product development takes a long time, and you have to be really good at multitasking and project managing. And
did you ever just want to give up?
A lot
Was
of
there
times.
a time? Was there a epic fail that you just like, come on, really? Like,
Yeah. I would say COVID did a number on product-based businesses, especially people that have to deal with overseas. Supply chain was a complete mess. We completely missed holiday. We had a whole lot of back orders and angry customers. And you said the dolls were going to get here by this day. And it was kind of out of our hands. And so, but of course, you try to explain to people, but people, have parted with their hard-earned money, and so justifiably so, they want answers. And so we just did our best to get in front of it by being proactive with communications. Zoe and I would record videos and be like, "We're so sorry,"
Aw.
and we try to add, give
How could you be
added
mad
value.
at Zoe?
Listen, they were still mad at
Little girl.
we know she's cute, but we need our we need our stuff or give me a refund. And so just that was a hard lesson because I think, we learned the importance of planning ahead and like placing larger orders and just having that safety stock.
Well, it's scary though.
It's
and
scary.
That's the thing. So
And you need
$5,000 is
money
one
to-
thing
you
because
need
how much
money
money?
to do
So,
that.
for example, the large order. What's the largest order you placed?
$5,000.
$5,000. How much money did you have to put in to get that $5,000?
That's like a lot.
a lot.
A
Like,
lot. A lot.
just this is not like
It's not.
it's not like a luxury vacation. It's just like a
No.
house down payment.
Yes, it's a lot of money.
And especially, this is you've earned this money, blood,
Yes,
sweat, and tears. Your daughter's
yes.
been out there,
And it's all
hustling
money
the
you're
dolls.
putting back you're reinvesting money as they come, as they come in to go back into the business. So it's bootstrapping. It's tough. So that's the importance of, looking for ways to get capital. So like looking for grants and other alternative means of financing.
Which
or
are
maybe
out
even
there.
which are out there. Absolutely. Which are out there.
Do you have
Um,
any resources for anyone listening who
Yeah.
might, or any programs or grants that have been especially helpful to you?
Yeah, so so Hello Alice is a great resource they always have a lot of different grants that they post on there. So we've applied, we've won a few grants from there. From Amazon, Fearless Fund is another one that gives out grants to Black women. They also invest in Black women as well from a venture capital standpoint. We're part of the Russell Center here in Atlanta, so it's Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurship. We actually have office space there, and they're just a huge hub for Black entrepreneurship here in Atlanta, and they provide, resources, coaching, and access to capital partners that you could talk to about different kinds of alternative investments for your business. We did Friends and Family out in California, actually. It was virtual, and that was another great accelerator that we did through Slauson & Co. So it's just about kind of being out there and, once you get plugged into these startup communities, and it just starts to snowball, I would say. So it's been a lot of that.
And when you see your daughter
Mhm.
leading in this way and earning all this money with a wonderful product, how does it make you feel?
Proud, blessed, amazed a lot of times because I look at her and I can't believe she's 10 years old. Like she's 10 going on. She's such an inspiration to me as a mom. Just, hearing what, everyone says about her, but also seeing her from a day-to-day standpoint. She's so humble. She's so down to earth. She's so focused. And I learned a lot from her because, she's able to somehow find a way to balance being a straight A student with being a young boss and inspiring others and writing books and just juggling it all so gracefully. So I learned a lot from her, and I'm very inspired by her. And it just goes to tell other moms out there, our children are all brilliant, in all different ways, right? So it's all about finding that passion in your child and just nurturing it. And so for me, I think that's all I did. I just did what I was supposed to do as a mom, right?
Also, listen to them.
Yeah, listen to them.
Think about if our parents had listened to us.
Absolutely.
All the things they could have done.
All the
Because we were
things.
constantly telling them
Yes.
what's missing. Like you listened
Listen.
to her.
Yes.
And
very
because of
important.
that, you have a family business that's building generational wealth. What does your
Absolutely.
mother have to say? Because this must be beyond her wildest
Yes.
imagination. Like growing up, we all of our mothers had little side hustles, right? They had business. I feel like Black women in particular are inherently entrepreneurs
Absolutely.
because in order to survive,
We
in order
always
to
find a
make
way.
it, in
Yes.
order to keep our families going,
Yes.
it is called by different names.
Yes.
Cleaning houses on the weekends,
Yes.
baking pies to get the extra cash.
Right.
Selling certain things and getting it back. Just in the community, like trade, like doing some hair.
Yes. Yes.
Just to think of it on this scale, using that same brilliance that was
Right.
stifled for a variety of reasons.
Right.
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 What does your mom say when she looks at her granddaughter? How far things have come.
Right. She's so proud. She's so proud of her. She just can't believe it. Every time she's around, she's like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. This is little Zoe. Like, look at her. Such an inspiration." And I think, it makes her so proud. So my mom is a big inspiration for me as well, because she's such a giver. She has a nonprofit for women in Africa, and she does a lot of community work. And so I think that's where Zoe sort of picked that up from, this whole idea of giving back and it's not about being in business to make money. It's about being in business to make impact. And so from day one, we've always given back to girl empowerment organizations. And then we recently launched the buy one, give one model where it's, just to make it more tangible. Again, it's like, so when you're buying a doll, another girl's getting a doll. And it's like, it's not just about the doll. It's about giving her something that she can see herself in, which is just the first point in that journey of building her self-esteem and self-confidence.
So often when we speak to individuals, their mother was an inspiration.
Yes.
My mom was an inspiration,
Yes.
right? And that's why I want to have these conversations, because not everyone has that mama.
Right.
Not everyone has that family.
Right.
Or that oomph behind them, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to a wannabe mompreneur
Mm-hmm.
who would like to try their hand at a product like your dolls or like your pillowcases or like your bonnets or just a product in general, but they're afraid and they don't have a role model in their family?
There are role models everywhere, right? It might not be your family, unfortunately, but there's strong women everywhere. And I would say find someone, find a network, find a sisterhood, because there's so much power when women get together. It might be a best friend, it might be a cousin, it might be whoever. But I would say don't be afraid to lean into your greatness, because we all have that in us, like you rightly said. And just that encouragement. Sometimes we have to encourage ourselves. But, it's always helpful when you have, that sister or someone around you that can also encourage you. So call me if you need to.
She's on internet all the time. Y'all are always on social media.
Yeah,
Beautiful
but I love to encourage other women. And I have a lot of women that reach out and they want to start businesses with their children as well. And I'm like, you could do it, and that's something that, we've been looking to probably roll out soon is, how do we kind of start to really create a community around.
I love that. So you'll be doing
young
what your mom is doing in Africa here. We're helping women figure it out, but with their kids. This is fantastic.
Yes.
Is there a pitfall that you would warn people before getting into your type of entrepreneurship with products? Is there something that you wish you two had known before you began?
I would say it's important to just plan for the worst. Understand that things cost a little bit more than you think they will. So find a way to figure out what that, how to kind of bridge that gap. So if you don't quit your job, like if you don't have to, right off the bat.
And that's very important because
yes.
I talked to a lot of different people. Some people are just like, I quit my job and I'm like, I'm done. I'm just like, but wait a second.
Right.
Who's supporting you?
Who's going to pay?
And
right.
see, you like, mom, you're a single mom. My mom was a single mom. My mom was like, don't ever quit your job. And I think that a lot of people listening to this are like, I can't be an entrepreneur and still hold down this job.
Oh,
Far
yes,
from
you
the truth.
absolutely can. You absolutely can. You can wear multiple. We do it all the time. We're raising children. We're doing all the things. I mean, at some point, you will want to focus, right? Especially if you're trying to, build a global empire like Zoe's trying to do. So it requires a lot of focus. But I would say in the beginning stages, don't be afraid to start small. Don't despise the day of humble beginnings, right? Just get started. I think the most important thing is get started. Use the little thing that you have and just continue to watch it multiply. But don't be afraid to take the leap and start. Let the job, fund your business, if you will. And then obviously there are creative ways to fund your business these days. There's friends and family. If you don't have friends and family, you can Kickstarter like you mentioned earlier. Or you can, do the old fashioned way with credit cards or loans and things like that. I mean, don't go into debt too much over your business. But I would say if you have something that you're passionate about, it will sell. I mean, find a way to create a story around your brand, because we found a lot of success with, really telling our story and being our authentic selves. And I think that's so important. People need to know why you're doing what you're doing and why should they care and why is it meaningful. So once you figure that out, it will sell. It will sell. And so, try and be consistent with it. Don't give up too early. Sometimes we, things don't there's not as much traction as we want, like in the beginning, and we fall back. But sometimes it takes time.
Well, it's just like my mom always said, because I was a hot mess of a child. I would like go in and out of being inappropriate, and she held in there. And
exactly. And look at you today.
And she always says, you never give up on your children.
You never do.
And
your business could be your baby.
Your business is like your baby, right? So you can't give up on your little business. Because if you had given up at COVID, you all wouldn't be here today.
Exactly. But sometimes it's you gotta You got to let it go,
Yeah,
though.
but you have to,
But you have to
that
give it a fighting
you
chance,
have to
for
give it a
sure.
fighting
For
chance.
sure. For sure. For
And
sure.
I'm so glad you're here. The thing is, though,
Yes.
you are but one element of this. I want to talk to your daughter, if that's
Yes.
okay,
Absolutely.
because when you found out that you were pregnant, the last thing you were thinking, I'm sure, was we gonna have
A whole
a
business.
worldwide business
Yeah.
together,
Not at all. Not at
and
all.
it's
It's a
incredible.
happy accident, but it's such a blessing, I have to say. It's a calling. It really is. And it's not something I planned, but I can totally see how, now that I see how far we've come and where we're going, it just makes total sense and it just feels so right. So I'm really blessed to be on the journey with her. And yeah, I'm excited for you to talk to her.
Do you love being a mompreneur?
I do.
What do you love about being a mompreneur? And you can even
Um,
say, I love being a mompreneur because.
I love being a mompreneur because it allows me more time with my daughter. Not that I need enough. Not that I don't have enough of it, but it allows me to be part of something bigger than myself and building generational wealth and building a legacy. And the fact that I get to do it with my daughter is really like the icing on the cake. It's a blessing.
I love it. Okay. I am excited to talk to your boss.
Okay.
Okay.
Talk to the boss.
Hello, boss. Good.
Come on.
All right, Mrs. Zoe Oli, I am so proud of you because at 6-year-old, you told your mom what?
I told my mom I did not like my hair. I wished it was straight like my classmates. She went back to the stores. She could not find any dolls that met my demand or my want. And so I told her I wanted to, start my own business and make dolls for not only myself but other girls to see themselves reflected in.
And not even 4 years later, you're 10 years old, you're in the 6th grade, you skipped a grade. And somehow in all of this, you and your mom have created a business where you're making over $100,000 in profit already at just 10 years old. How does this make you feel?
It makes me feel so happy that I'm able to see all the impact that I have on the lives of others, and how I'm able to make other girls feel really makes me excited and ready to do more.
So now at 10, after being CEO of Beautiful Curly Me for this time, you have the know-how and expertise. You can just soar and do whatever you want. You've been writing books, you're creating product lines. But at 6, clearly you needed some help. Aren't you so glad that your mom decided to become a mompreneur?
Yes, I am so glad because she helped me so much along this journey. When I'm at school, she helps with the day-to-day operations, and we have a lot of meetings and talk about everything. So she really is helping me so much along this journey.
Now, do your middle school classmates know of your success?
Yes, they know all about my business and they are so supportive. I just came back a couple of months ago and my friend's like, oh my gosh, I bought your book. I love it. So they're very supportive and love my business and are very supportive of me.
Some kids might think their parents don't listen to them. You're very lucky to have a very smart mom who recognized her daughter was very smart and listened to her. What do you say to parents whose kids might be inspiring them or telling them something that could be a really good boon for the family, but they're just kind of like, oh, that's just child talk? What do you say to people who might not realize how much brilliance is in a child's mind?
I would say listen to your child because they have this idea, and let them follow their passions and really support them. I know that a lot of parents out there are helping their children and support them along their journey. So help them follow their dreams, and really that's what a parent does. So
And the dreams that you follow can be so awesome. You've sold thousands of products, dolls, bonnets, books, pillowcases, everything. And not only are you and your mom entrepreneurs, but you're also philanthropists, which means you give away a lot of things, right?
yes. So we actually just started a campaign last year, I would say. So for every doll that's bought on our website, we give one to a young girl in need. And so we've always gave back. We started off by giving 10% of our profits away to girl empowerment organizations, but I wanted to do a little bit more. And so I think this is a great way we're able to go in there. I'm able to read books to different children at shelters and give them the dolls. And it's a great way to really make sure that everybody, all the girls, are feeling confident and loving themselves.
So here we are, Your business has been going on for 3 years. You got through COVID. What was it like running a business like Beautiful Curly Me during the pandemic?
At first, it was kind of scary because we didn't know what to expect. Everybody was in shock, and we kind of had to shut down a couple of things. We had to focus on our online presence, definitely, and and started selling masks and doing a lot of things virtually. It was kind of hard, but we got used to the transition, and it, I think it was kind of helpful for us to really expand our online presence.
I forgot I bought my mom one of your matching bonnet and masks. I completely forgot that she loved it so much. And that's so interesting. You took advantage of an opportunity to help people in a different way. Because what was really great about these things, they had beautiful African prints, and it was just so much fun. They weren't like anything out there.
No, they really weren't. And we got a lot of notice for that. So.
And you had to deal, here's the thing, it's not all beautiful and fun and puppies and rainbows being an entrepreneur. Yes, you have a whole bunch of fans who just love your books, but you had some angry customers too during COVID, right?
Yes. So some supply chain was definitely backed up, and so some people were like, "Oh, give me our product. Where is it?" And so we had to deal with those customers and really be like, "I'm sorry. Here,
That can be very scary.
Yes,
but you got through it.
Yes, we definitely did, and I would say to learn from our customers and what they wanted was helpful as well.
So a lot of the challenges that you faced, do you think they've made you a stronger person, a better person?
Yes, definitely. One of the things I like to say is fail up. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. And I say you can learn from all of your mistakes, and all of the challenges just help you be stronger and help other people around you as well to support them, because they may be going through, they may be able to learn from you, and you may be able to learn from someone else.
Speaking of learning from people, I know that you have some organizations here in Atlanta that you all have worked with to learn a lot of business support and get grants and get information to help build your business. Are there any in particular that you wanted to mention that people might be able to reach out to?
Well, definitely the Russell Center, Rice, is a great kind of location for Black businesses, and Goody Nation is another one. It helps you with networking, and for mompreneurs and also other parents as well. There's Parentpreneur organization, which is very great to have a community of other parents that are dealing with their children, and as well as running businesses.
Amazing. And so right now, in little over 3 years, you've gone from $1,000 order that your mom put in $5,000 of investment to already profiting in the six figures. What is your next goal?
I would say 6 figures and beyond. Well, right now I'm working on different campaigns. So this year I want to donate $5,000 to Girls in Need, and I'm hoping to definitely expand that as I go on. And I would say just the sky's the limit. So excited for what we can do next.
Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you all so much for joining us. Evana and Zoe Oli can be found at beautifulcurlyme.com. And you just are going to love all of her dolls, all of her products. Thank you for being you.
Thank you so much.
I hope you thank your mom all the time for listening to you.
I do.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
It really does.